Oh, hello again. Welcome. Would you care to join me by the fire? Wonderful. Here for another story? Oh, let me see what I could find. How about this one? It's called Centerville by Angela Lindseth. If the lake doesn't freeze tonight, sunrise will be ugly. We went out on the lake despite all the warnings. We went out for one thing: food. It's amazing at how fast the weather changed. Like once the oven heated up, it couldn't wait to toast every glacier and iceberg. The dam that held back the water above Centerville gave way faster than a hooker takes off her dress. Not many survived. Most of the bodies rest beneath the water, buried in thick layers of silt and mud that swept over the small town in minutes. The apparitions appeared soon after, always at the same time. The dam burst at dawn, catching the inhabitants while they yawned and made coffee. Daybreak. Now it's a dangerous time to be caught out on the lake. I told you we shouldn't have come out here. My daughter surveys the expanse of water that surrounds our broken boat. We have to eat, Sarah. You should have checked the oil. I did, but you know what a piece of crap the engine is. It's not like I'm a mechanic. I know, I'm sorry. I'm just scared. You know the stories. They're just stories. I fiddled with the engine, trying not to think about Jim Harris, who had come back to camp with a hand frostbitten and black. The ice keeps them at bay. But there's no security in the thought. It's going to be dark soon. What are we going to do? Tara trips along the edge of her voice. It's cold. Maybe it will freeze. Her fear is my fear, because I believe in ghosts. How can the energy of so many people be wiped away in an instant with no remnant of their existence? Sarah sat silent. It's said that a crust of ice will keep the lake people beneath the water. It's possible. The temperature swings are erratic, so there's hope. It's our best bet. To be caught out on the open water? Well, Jim Harris tells his story. He had been adrift on the lake, passed out more than likely, and woke up to a cold, fierce grip around his wrist. He claims Mr. Thurman, who had been Centerville's sole liquor store proprietor, had come to collect. Mr. Thurman had tugged at him, but even in his belligerent state, Jim had escaped. He lost a hand to frostbite. Small price to pay, he claims. I throw a wrench across the deck. Oh, I can't fix it. Hell, I don't even know what's wrong with it. Sarah tugs her coat closer. The temperature's dropping. I tuck a blanket around her, but keeping her warm through the night is not the problem. Go below and try to get some sleep. A full moon hovers over us. Sarah's snores are a slight comfort from the night, but it's not the night I fear. The scratching wakes me. It comes from the bottom of the boat, tiny scrapes like branches on a window. So, the tales are true. The dead do rise against the living. I don't want to wake Sarah, not until I've ruled out other possibilities. Maybe we've drifted over a tree, its branches reaching for fresh air, forever submerged beneath the dark water. But the noise is too rhythmic, too insistent. It emanates from the boat's wooden hull and the frozen crystal blanket that formed on the lake in the early hours. Oh, thank God for the ice. I don't dare look over the edge, afraid of whose familiar face I might see. Old Lady Mabel, an early riser who had probably been heading out to tend her roses before the heat of the day. Philip Michaels, the newspaper delivery kid, all tow-headed and pocket-marked, or maybe Shannon, my best friend. I couldn't stand to see her auburn hair floating in the icy water. I wipe away the tears that stream down my face. I hide my head in my arms and press my hands over my ears. Even though the ice is thin, it seems to be keeping the people of the lake at bay. Sarah's whisper whips me to attention. Daddy? Sarah, no! That's not your father! Daddy? My daughter leans over the edge of the boat and stretches her hand toward the face under the ice. A lock of hair skims the thin crust of ice that protects her from the wraith. It looks like Richard. Sort of. Except with dark, cavernous eyes. His thick mop of hair has been replaced with wispy, white strands that flow around his skull wrapped in stretched, translucent skin. Get back, Sarah! My voice shakes. Don't touch the ice! I have a conversation in my mind with the bastard who dares look at his daughter from the depths. You look good down there, Rich. You deserve every second of purgatory. As if it hears me, the apparition casts its gaze on me. If he hadn't run off like a little bitch, we could have all been together. Forever. The voice is clear with its usual menacing intonation, conjured especially for me. It rattles inside my head. Sarah doesn't notice, either oblivious to the voice or unable to hear it. Her finger is millimeters from the frozen surface, wavering in indecision. The Richard thing has turned its attention back to me. I'm here, Sarah. Come to me. This time the voice doesn't register, but the thin lips are readable. Sarah jerks back her hand and looks at me, a huge tear clinging to the end of her nose. It's not him, baby. Come away from this side. Richard thing fades back, then lunges towards Sarah. Her scream rips across the lake's surface. Dozens of rotting corpses join the Richard thing, clawing at the ice. Leaves adorn their hair, and mud slips from mouths open and silent cries for help, faces familiar yet forgotten, malformed by their death. The scratching and knocking grows to a crescendo. Richard's voice echoes in my head. Bitch, bitch, bitch! Mournful wails and sobs fill my mind. And then it stops. I look to the horizon and thank the sun. Are you all right, Sarah? Will he be back tomorrow, Mom? I don't want to see him again. I don't know, baby. Hopefully we can get the motor started and get back to land. What about the ice? I don't think it's thick enough to stop us. Look. I tap the frozen crust. It breaks easy enough. Sarah shrieks, Stop! You let them out! It's daylight, Sarah. They won't be back until tomorrow morning. You don't know that! She tugs her blanket over her head, a shroud against her fear. She's right. How can I predict how ghosts will react, especially when we're bobbing out here like a turd in a toilet? I survey the skyline. We drifted during the night before the ice formed. Sarah follows my gaze. Yeah, the wrong way. She twists to inspect the opposite skyline. I think I see the other shore. I can't believe there are no oars in this thing. How stupid of me! I spit the word, hating myself for the lack of forethought. I knew the risk coming out here. At least we have food. She kicks a fish we caught the day before. Never did like sushi much, though. We have to figure out paddles, or some way to push against the ice. If we keep going with the breeze, we'll hit land soon. Sarah straightens and looks around the boat. Before nightfall, you think? I don't know. I hope so. It's doubtful, but I keep it to myself. We can make a sail. A chink in the depressive situation opens. Great idea! You're brilliant, Sarah. We can use the sheets off the bunks. Just need to figure out a mast. There's a railing. Okay, you start pulling it off. There's a screwdriver in the toolbox. I'll go below and get the sheets and see what I can do about cooking up those fish. At one time, Richard and I had this boat stocked with everything we could possibly need for a romantic getaway. Then the booze had taken over and the abuse had started. It had been stored in dry dock for the better part of the last 5 years. A winter chill takes over the cabin, and I know he's with me. I feel his waterlogged finger trace the line of my neck. I'm coming for her tonight. Richard's voice reverberates through the tiny cabin. Shut up! You're not real. Oh, I'm real, Lizzie. You just can't see me yet. His bedroom name for me, our secret. The sheets dropped from my trembling fingers. Stay away from Sarah. You know I can't do that, and I don't want to. She belongs with me. You've had her long enough. I tried to ignore his deathly purring, his fetid breath, the cold tickle of water he had somehow left on my neck. I rummaged beneath the bunk and yanked out a cook stove buried beneath a musty tarp. Score on 2 counts. We both know you can't come out as long as there's ice on the lake. You shouldn't have brought our boat, Lizzie. I lurched up the steps of the deck, terrified of the implications. A few minutes ago, the boat had been a safe haven. Now, it reeked with his presence. Who were you talking to? Thankfully, my daughter hadn't felt her father's glimmer. Just myself. Look what I found. This will make a great sail, and hopefully there's enough gas to cook up some fish. Sarah's bright smile almost erases the horror Richard promised. I have part of the railing almost off. I'll start the fish, and then we can figure out how to put up the sail. My daddy taught me how to use a knife and fillet a fish. You would think with my upbringing I wouldn't be caught out on the lake without a paddle. I stifle a nervous giggle as I return my thoughts to Richard. Certainly he would leave the rest of them at sunrise. Or would he come sooner? The makeshift sail fills with air, and the boat follows the wind like a reeling puppy. Maybe there's hope if we can get to shore before nightfall. I have no clue what Richard has planned, but I'm sure darkness will bring answers. Sarah shoves bites of fried fillet in her mouth, spitting bones into the slushy water. The frigid air stings my eyes. Let's go below and see what else we can find. What are we looking for? Something for protection. I didn't say the words out loud, mainly because I don't know what that something could be. What protects a person from deadbeat dads and worthless husbands in the light of day, let alone after they are dead? I don't know. Anything. Something. You mean for the morning? Sarah's a smart girl. We rummaged through the drawers and tiny compartments, putting together an arsenal of weapons. Knives, rope, a hammer. Seems like a crucifix and holy water would be more appropriate, but maybe that only works on vampires. I find an inflatable raft and an idea formulates. No matter what, I have to protect Sarah. I can't let Richard get to her. Let's blow this thing up. See if it holds air. Sarah looks skeptical. What do you have in mind? Oh, maybe we can make a distraction while we make a run for it. I don't mention I will be the distraction. The ice would have to be thick enough to walk on if it freezes at all. This is what will happen if we have to go. The ice will never be thick enough to support me, but it will hold you. You're small. It will be okay. I will fall on the raft. My weight will be distributed that way. Skepticism floods her face. We're going to leave the boat? Only if we get a good freeze. The temperature's dropping. It is. Fast. I debate whether this was a good thing or a bad thing. In my mind, I know Richard won't let the sunrise dictate his presence. He will come with the darkness. I am sure of it. The afternoon progresses. The sun strives to shine through the thickening clouds, and the ice congeals and solidifies slowly down our forward motion. Sarah and I take turns breaking the ice from the bow of the boat, and the distant shore becomes distinct and valid. We're going to make it! Sarah's voice drips with relief. We have a ways to go yet. Why don't you get some sleep? It's been a long day. Sarah's face splits into a yawn. Maybe for a little while. She snuggles into a pile of blankets. I continue to break the ice, hoping the wind will carry us far enough. A heavy mist forms across the lake's surface, erasing the shore from sight. Every sound, every touch of the breeze takes me to Richard's voice, his presence, his threat to return before the dawn. I know he is connected to this boat, our lifeline, our sole hope for survival. I study the darkness, analyze a slab of ice against the hull, wondering how he would make himself known. I don't remember falling asleep, but you never do. I feel him before I see him. I told you I would come for her, Lizzie. It's my turn. She always loved you more than me. The boat has come to a standstill. Damn it! How long did I sleep? Richie, you know that's not true. I love you, baby. Richard's hollow eyes stare at me with resentment. Sarah had always been a burden, an inconvenience to him. I look around hoping to see land within reach, but the darkness is barely touched by the rising sun. The raft is in place on the ice beside the boat, my secret weapon hidden in its folds. I nudge Sarah to wake her while maintaining Richard's gaze. Richie, come to me. I expose my neck, his favorite part of my body, his fetish. He can never resist the curve, the sweet sweat of our lovemaking that lingered along the collarbone. Lizzie. He drags his eyes away from Sarah. A maggot wiggles out his ear and mud dripples from his mouth. I'll always love you, Richie. Nothing could change that. My revulsion rises in my throat, thick acid that burns like his icy touch. Don't run away, Lizzie. You're always running away. His filled breath rafts over me. He takes a step closer, and I counter by scooting back, edging over the rim of the boat toward the raft. The ice is thick enough, I hope. It just needs to hold for a little while. Over Richard's moldy shoulder, Sarah sits, her hand over her mouth, holding in a scream. Sarah, go now! I'm not leaving you! Yes, you are! Go now! I'll be right after you! Richard has a cold hand on my neck, floating a finger along the shoulder blade, leaving a trickle of slime. His frigid breath leaves a shimmer of ice in my hair, and I suppress a shiver. He throws a look at Sarah like a passing thought, his attention transfixed on my exposed skin. You would give your life for hers? It's not a question mothers ask. Of course, I give myself to you now if you would just let her go. It's not up to just me. His sunken eyes survey the horizon as the first rays of light pour across the lake and the scratching commences. Horror floods my mind. Sarah, run! I heave myself over the edge of the boat and into the tiny raft. The ice creaks in protest. It's thin but holds. Richard reaches for me. Long claws have replaced his hands. They gouge at the ice, scraping, digging frantically to free his friends below. In the morning light, the shore is close. So close. Sarah scrambles across the slick surface and falls to one knee. The ice emits a violent crack around her. Crawl, baby, crawl! Spread your weight! Beneath the ice, Shannon reaches for me, her auburn hair snarled with branches and mud. She smiles a vicious smile full of hate and venom. Come to me, Elizabeth. Her words reverberate and fill my skull. Dozens of bodies collect beneath the ice, beating an unearthly rhythm, reeling the ice to collapse. More of them head towards Sarah, who crawls toward to the shore. So close, less than 100 feet. Another enormous crack fills the air and Sarah screams, Mama! I'll save you, baby! Don't look back! I reach for my secret weapon, the hammer, and slam the ice next to the raft. Instantly, the rafts turn their attention to me. The cold water envelops me, but Sarah is safe.
Well, wasn't that an interesting story? I want to thank you again for joining me. Please feel free to come back anytime. Bye-bye.